If you just clicked on this video to know if this guy, the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra, is a fantastic robot vacuum, yes it is. Thanks for watching. Okay, jokes aside, I feel like this vacuum is incredible, but a lot of the content online tends to focus on the specs, just comparing different vacuums and comparing different specs between them. And in truth, that doesn't really add too much value to the average buyer. If you're buying a vacuum, I sure know that's what I was looking for. I was kind of just trying to find someone that would give me their own experience of owning one of these guys. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to do in this video. What are the meaningful specs and the meaningful features that have a tangible impact in my day-to-day life? And what's the fluff? The rest that only looks good on paper or when comparing this guy with the competition. For reference, I live in a relatively small 2-bedroom apartment with my partner and my cat Gatsby, and Gatsby does most of the garbage making and the hair dispensing all the way around the house. So I kind of knew from the beginning that a robot vacuum would be somewhat of a necessity, since if I don't vacuum the house every other day, it will look like a hot mess because this guy sheds like no other cat, or like most cats. I have used other Roborock vacuums in the past, mainly the Roborock S7, so I have a little bit of experience with Roborock products and with LiDAR navigation, but this guy is on a whole other level when it comes to enabling some of my laziness when it comes to keeping this entire house clean. Like, for example, with the Roborock S7, I had to empty its dust bin compartment every other day, otherwise it would kind of just clog up with hair and not really vacuum too well. With this guy, it just pretty much goes into its own dock and self-empties itself into a contained garbage bag, which is just a tremendous improvement when it comes to just the day-to-day operation of the vacuum. And if you're wondering how often you're gonna have to deal with this bag, I would say for a house around the size of mine and pets, it's around every 2 months, which it pretty much puts you in a position where you can just throw the bag into the bin and just put on a new one. According to Amazon, they'll be around 70 cents per bag, and the vacuum comes with a couple of bags in the box, so you'll be good for at least 6 months-ish. Or you can just empty the bag yourself, either because you don't want to spend the money on a new bag or because you're just worried about sort of the general waste of just chucking a bag with your garbage every time. You can definitely just remove the garbage from inside and just keep going with the same bag, so it's really not that bad. Then we have the whole corner situation, which is by far the most common question you hear from people considering a robot vacuum is how do you clean the corners? And truth is, you don't very well, but garbage doesn't tend to pull up in the corners if you just vacuum your house every day or every other day. You kind of just have garbage in the middle that gets pushed to the corners eventually, and if it doesn't get there, it doesn't pull out in the corners. That's at least what I found with just 2 years of having just a robot vacuum in the house. But often enough, you kind of want to just go into the corners and scrub things into the middle so that it helps the vacuum go along the way. But Roborock decided to tackle this issue with an extendable sort of FlexiArm that sort of pops out when the vacuum gets close to a corner, and in theory is a good idea, I guess. In carpet is not the most effective thing because it's just a regular sort of rotating brush. It's not as powerful, no suction, no nothing. It just flings things from the corner into the path of the vacuum, which on carpet, it's not really easy to do. But the problem is it kind of was targeted at also doing it underneath furniture, which I thought was quite clever. Like, a vacuum goes close to a sofa and maybe just extends its little arm under the sofa to just get the first layer of things that tends to accumulate under the sofa. I've never seen it extend the arm underneath any furniture over the past 2-3 months. I just never seen it. It does it in the corners and in the kitchen and in the bathroom with hard floors. It works fine. It's not the most incredible feature, I would say. I still have from time to time to just go in the corners with a little brush and just push things into the middle. But in reality, it is, I wouldn't say it's a selling point if that's something you're considering particularly. It's just, it is what it is. It maybe can get better with software, but it just isn't really there at the current moment. And since we're talking software, to me, the software has been one of my favorite features of Roborock vacuums ever since I pretty much got into them. This time round, they added certain things that kind of make the whole usability of the app a little bit more confusing, even though it's still a very good experience. Like, for starters, they added this new smart AI-enabled cleaning that's supposed to prioritize rooms depending on an algorithm thingy. But look, I kind of have my cleaning schedule sort of figured out. I know I want the office cleaned first, and then the hallway, and then the bedroom. I kind of know that pretty much how it works better with my routine, so I didn't really want to use it. But the fact that they added this extra button in the app made the customize button completely hidden outside the screen. And if you didn't know that button was there, no way of knowing it's there. There are no arrows, there's no tutorial that tells you that button's there. It simply isn't. Another thing they added was a voice assistant, which, I don't know, if you know anything about voice assistants, you're probably a little bit defensive from the get-go. A voice assistant just for my Rocky robot. I wasn't too excited, and I wasn't too impressed. Like, in reality, it's very seldom that I'm in the same room as the vacuum when I want to tell it to sort of clean something. It's much more convenient to just do it through Google Assistant and just tell, hey, Google, send the vacuum that way, and he will just go. There's a voice assistant now, which you thankfully can turn off. What you can't turn off, though, is the fact that you now cannot give custom names to rooms, because for the voice assistant, it probably wouldn't work too well to just have to train it on different words, so you just have presets. That would be the case if I didn't find this menu hidden 3 layers deep into the app, where you can actually customize the name of rooms in a way, and Google Assistant recognizes these sort of custom names, so you can kinda make it work, just not as conveniently as you could before, so that's a little bit of a shame. The rest, you know, the mapping, the navigation, how it's just consistently good at tracking everything around the house and being efficient and quick, and just it really is a supreme mapping and just vacuuming machine. But certain things on the software aren't getting better necessarily, so it is a little bit of a polishing that maybe needs to happen, but other than that, it is probably still one of the most complete vacuuming apps that is on the market now. And Roborock has promised that they will be one of the very first Matter-supported robot vacuums, and they're pretty much just waiting, I think, for platforms like Apple Home and Google Assistant to update to the latest Matter version, and then the vacuum will be fully controllable outside of Roborock's app, which, I don't know, I'm here to see it. For mapping and navigation, the radar uses a combination of LiDAR plus the RGB cameras on the front of the vacuum for object recognition, and the entire system is definitely very good. Like, it is, for example, if you have a dumb robot vacuum in one end of the spectrum, like a robot that just goes until it hits something and then turns, the jump for LiDAR is ginormous. It is so much more useful as a product, and then the jump with adding the cameras is maybe an extra 15%. Like, if a LiDAR is 80%, it gets you to 95% of just capability. The vacuum just goes around the house and detects cables very well. It detects any sort of weird garbage and wet patches and adapts its cleaning sort of profile to those, which is sometimes a lifesaver if there's been some accident with pet bathrooms and the vacuum still hasn't touched anything, so that's good. But it's still not perfect in the sense that there's still cat toys that get swollen every so often, and with the auto empty thing, certain things have just disappeared. So I still have the habit of just going around the house and just picking things up to avoid the vacuum sucking anything and just making it disappear. But it is better. I don't know, it is hard to trust a system to just be completely autonomous and to just be reliably autonomous, and maybe this is something that can improve with software. It's miles better than my S7, but it's still not 100% independent when it comes to just navigating and making sure it does not swallow anything that it shouldn't. And then these cameras and the entire vacuum enable a very interesting set of features. Like, the first question it asked me when I set it up was my email. The second one was, do I have pets? This informed the vacuum two things: not only how it should approach a pet in the house, but it pretty much creates like a one-to-one social network picture sharing kind of system between you and your vacuum and your pet. So it just takes pictures of the pet running around the house. They're not great, they're blurry and noisy and not good quality, but you know, when you're away from home, it's something. It's the same system that identifies objects around the house and tags them as different things on the map, but it's also the same system that you can use when you are not home to just click a button and the vacuum will go around the house trying to find your pet. And when it finds it, it either takes a picture of him or enables you to click a button and you do a video call with your pet. Now, is this a necessary feature? No. A good feature? No. Have I used it and told every single person I've ever talked to about this vacuum? Absolutely. So, I don't know. It is something. If you ever wanted to video call your pet with a robot vacuum wireless camera through the internet, now you can. If you made it all the way until this point of the video, chances are you're probably considering buying one of these guys. And in the past, I just glossed over or brushed over, no pun intended, some of the features when it comes to the actual cleaning, but let's dive a little bit more in depth when it comes to those. It has dual brushes, which makes it much better at avoiding tangles with hair on the brushes. The suction is one of the best in all robot vacuums right now, and that's really sort of translated when you see the vacuum automatically detect carpets and just increase the power to the max and just leaves perfect carpet lines all the way around the house, and you really feel like it's properly vacuumed. That's just a fantastic thing. The mop is a substantial improvement from the S7 that I've used in the past, and it's a very good mopping system. It not only has a better water dispensing feature that sort of spreads and evenly wets the entire mop, but it vibrates stronger. It has a side brush to sort of mop against the sort of all the sides of the walls, giving it that pristine cleaning all the way around. It has an automatically detergent dispenser that you can just fill and pretty much never think about again. I think mine will last for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, probably even more, so it's perfect. It auto washes the mop when it needs to with hot water, detergent, and then it dries the mop in a little under 2 hours. It doesn't use too much power in doing all these things. I've measured it on the wall and it's definitely very reasonable. The most I've seen is when it's sucking all the dirt out of the vacuum into the bag. That's the maximum I've ever seen it pull from the wall, but other than that, it's definitely very viable to just not worry too much about power consumption. And the robot empties itself when it has to, it washes the mop when it has to with detergent and hot water and dries it all automatically, and all you really have to do is fill it with detergent every 6+ months, empty the garbage every 2-ish months, and fill it with clean water every couple of weeks, and empty the dirty water every couple of weeks. Both of these processes are easy and quick, and you just dunk things and put things back on the dock and just move on with your day. In my opinion, as a complete package, it is a perfect vacuum if you have a house with pets that need constant cleaning. It really is a supremely good robot vacuum. The problem? The price. It's $1,800, or I found some discounts here in the UK for around £1,000, so maybe there are cheaper prices around for it, but it's still, either way, very expensive. Now, is it perfect? No. Maybe with some software tweaks here and there, it can sort of be borderline perfect, but it isn't right now. So maybe it's a tough pill to swallow, but if you have the money, oh boy, is it a good vacuum. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful to you, and yeah, I'll see you very soon. Bye.